Today, we're talking about how much money can we make and predict that we are going to make from our email list. Everybody always says you need to build your email list. You need to build your email list. And then they'll say, well, you have to A/B test the topic and then you optimize. And there's all these other things. You got to get your DMARC cards right. You got to get your domain name authority. You have to write your copy, which is all true. But what most people don't talk about or address is the math behind sending each newsletter or each broadcast. And that's what we're going to talk about today, because a lot of times people will come to me and they will say, well, I have an email list of 1,000 people and I only made $39 last month. Well, maybe that's true based on your open rate, based on your bounce rate, based on your unsubscribe rate. There's all of these variables. So we're going to go through an example today. And if you are listening on the podcast, I am going to be as specific as I can so that you can follow. And when you get a chance, you can grab the link in the show notes and get access to the Google Sheets, which you could download as an Excel sheet as well, so that you can go through it. And I encourage you to jump over to our YouTube channel where this is being released so that you can actually watch what we're talking about in action. But if you're listening, it will not be a problem. You're going to be able to keep up. So let's jump over to the spreadsheet. Now, I built this, and it is a simple email marketing math model. Eventually, we're going to have some future episodes where I go even deeper into the waterfall. But this is really going to get you thinking as you think about how important it is to build your email list and thinking about how much money you could potentially make from it. I built this spreadsheet. Anything in yellow is an input in my models. So that means we can change that and it will flow through to the rest of the spreadsheet. In this case, the email marketing math model. So the key inputs that we are going to be able to control are how many emails do we have, what our bounce rate is, the unsubscribe rate, the open rate, the percent who click after open, the percentage who buy something after landing on your site, the average purchase price, and the average cost of the goods sold or services sold. So let's go over some of these numbers, and then we'll talk about the economics that these inputs spit out below in the spreadsheet. I put in 17,000 just as a number. We have 17,400, I think, in our main list, and then 50,000 in another list, thereabouts. I put in 0.65% as a bounce rate. And where I got this from was a MailChimp annual report that they put out, I guess you would call it. And it talks about, they send billions of emails with all their customers. And they aggregate that data, anonymize it, but then provide a report and says, in this industry, your open rate, your click-through rate, et cetera, is X. I took a general average using that as an industry average to put in here to start. Yours could vary. It could be lower. It could be higher. I put 0.65%. The unsubscribe rate, I put in at 2.25%. And that seems to be across all industries, according to this last annual report in MailChimp, to be the industry average. The industry average overall for opens is 23.33%. The percentage who click after open on average is 2.5%. The percentage who buy something after landing on a site. In general, I used the MailChimp report, but I also used an e-commerce site that talked about it. I tried to get to a true number or a good number to use for this example, and then we're going to change it as we go. The average purchase amount I just made up, so the cart value would be $129. I said our cost of goods sold would be 30% of whatever we were selling. If it's a service, it might be way higher for you. If it's a product, it could be higher. If it's software, it would be higher. It could be lower. It just depends on your margins. If you're not producing a lot of something, your expenses could be high to start. Now, at the bottom with these numbers, it spits out what happens. So with the numbers at 17,000 emails with 0.65% 2.5% bounce rate, we get 110 bounces. This spreadsheet isn't rounding up. I should make it round up, and I'll do that so that when you get a hold of this thing, you are at least being as accurate as possible, because bounces here is 110.5. Net list bounces, so that's the 17,000 minus the 110 bounces that we had, is 16,890. Now our open rate, which is the industry average we put in there, 23.33%, is 3940. So 3,940. Now, when people open it, we are going to get a percentage who unsubscribe. And we put in 0.25 unsubscribe rate, so we lose 42 people. Now we take the 3940 minus the 42, and we get a potential group of people who could buy from us or read our message, whatever that is 3,898. Now, our click-through rate we have at 2.5%. So that gives us 99 clicks, and we're saying that 2% buy, so we get 2 buyers. Now, this is sort of crazy when you start to think about this, that 17,000 emails only produces 2 buyers, but it's 2 buyers, so you think it doesn't really cost you a lot to send this list or send an email other than time to build the copy, which is a whole nother thing. Your total revenue in this will be $254.15. Your cost of goods at 30% is $76.25, and your gross revenue or income is $177.91. This is basically our miniature analysis of what can happen. Now, this is not complete, which I'll talk about in a minute why, but it is a good model. It's an excellent model to use to start. And let's change some things. So let's leave our email list at 17,000 for now. Bounce rate 0.65. We can control that a little bit, but not totally. Unsubscribe. I should jump back to bounce rate. Why we can't control it. We can't control it completely because people delete emails. That just happens. Or a server goes down. It doesn't usually happen, but it can. So you just have natural attrition. Unsubscribe rate at 0.25%, we lose 42 subs. Whether that's just not going to move the needle. Where we're going to move the needle is on our open rate. We, with our 17,300 list, get an open rate of anywhere from 37% to 42%. Let's move this 23.33 and go to 38%. And let's leave our click-through rate after open at 2%. Let's leave 2% who buy. Let's leave our purchase price the same and our average cost of goods sold. Now what we're getting is total revenue of $413. So $413 when we had $254.15. That's a big difference. We can get our open rate up, and open rates we can control. That's a topic for another podcast. But you think about that, we get up to $413 in revenue, and now we're at $289. That would be a lever that you would want to control. The other thing is how much do people buy? Maybe we get that purchase price up to $189. Now we're at $606.50 revenue and $424.55. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot of money, but it adds up, and you could send this every 3 times a week, still only making $1,200, but maybe your average purchase price is higher. I mean, if this is an apparel site, I don't even think I've seen a dress shirt, or even a pullover shirt. I'm thinking right now, maybe $90. If you're a clothing company per se, maybe your average cart price is $379. And now you've got $1,216 in revenue, $1,216.21 in revenue. And you've got $851.35 in gross income, gross revenue. You see how this can really start to add up. I was using small numbers to show an example. And if you can grow your email list, I mean, it's not unreasonable. If you're putting the tactics into work and you're capturing them at all possible places, which you should be, then it's not unreasonable to think that you couldn't get a bigger list. But if you think about it, with 17,000 people on a list, and you can get your average cart price up and make $851, and you're sending that 3 times a week or twice a week, starts to add up pretty quickly. So you can make money with a small list. The bigger the list, great. Some people will have a vanity metric and they'll say, "Oh, my list is 150,000. What's your open rate? What's your bounce rate? What's your click through rate?" All those things. I'd rather have a small list with a higher open rate. What we've been doing with our list is exactly that. We started in the mid 20s open rates, and we've just been working on really honing in our customers who want to hear our message. And we've gotten that up to, like I said, about 37 to 42%, depending on the campaign. So, this is a little bit about what email marketing math looks like. How this would fit into your overall broader strategy is that this would be one tab in your financial model that you're using to run your company. And you would have one of these for each, we do, for each channel of marketing. And then this feeds into your P&L and cash flow because this is where it all happens. And now you're starting to build a model that actually allows you to run and manage your business in an efficient way. The other thing that I'll say here is earlier I said that this wasn't complete. And here's why it's not complete. And we'll do another episode down the line here with a more advanced model. But here's why it's not complete is because we said that 2.5% of the people buy when they go to the website. But in order to model this and to be able to set targets for ourselves, we would need to add, and we will, a line item in here that says cart abandonment. So what percentage? Now, we could just say, well, that's a net number. We say that 2% net. Well, that's great, but now we've missed the opportunity to set a metric that we're shooting for. Because if our cart abandonment is 20% and we're not measuring that and keeping track of that, then we don't know to improve that on our website. And you could keep all of these constant, improve your cart abandonment rate, and all of a sudden you could significantly at those percentages based where we are in the customer journey to buy something from you. All of a sudden, maybe we make a third more, maybe we make a half more, 50% more.